Earth is one of the most dynamic planets in the solar system, certainly the most active among the rocky planets. There are many ways Earth can unleash its force upon its inhabitants, but the most common and devastating natural disasters are the wild winds of our planet. Tornadoes are something to be feared for sure, but tropical storms are the real beasts here. So let's talk today about the wild winds of Earth. Hello and welcome to 7 Facts. The first week of May 1999 was one of the most frightening weeks in central and eastern United States. During that week, there was a literal outbreak of tornadoes, known now as the Oklahoma tornado outbreak. In total, 154 tornadoes touched down in Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, Texas, Arkansas, and one even in Canada. The state of Oklahoma was the hardest hit. 72 tornadoes touched down in the state alone, making it the most prolific tornado outbreak in the state's history. 36 people died in Oklahoma City alone, and much of the southern and eastern parts of it, plus its suburbs, were destroyed. In total, 50 people died, 900 were injured, thousands of homes were destroyed. The estimated damage was around $1.5 billion. The F5 category tornado that hit Oklahoma City on May 3rd broke a world record that still stands. The winds reached 486 kilometers per hour. 7 years prior to this event, there was another devastating storm that hit the United States, Hurricane Andrew. This was one of only 4 Category 5 hurricanes to ever hit the United States, and it was one of the costliest. The Bahamas, Florida, and Louisiana were the main areas devastated by Andrew in August 1992. The hardest hit was South Florida. The winds reached speeds of up to 280 km per hour, which destroyed all but the foundations of houses in its path. 63,500 houses were leveled, 124,000 more were significantly damaged, 65 people died. 1.5 million people were evacuated. Hundreds of thousands were left without electricity, millions of trees were downed, agriculture in the area was devastated. Hundreds of millions of freshwater fish were also killed in the hurricane. The total bill of Andrew, $27.3 billion. At the time, it was considered to be among the most devastating natural disasters in US history. Since then, Andrew was overtaken in cost by no less than 6 hurricanes. One of the largest and deadliest ever tornadoes occurred in 1925, also in the United States. The so-called Tristate Tornado crossed Mississippi, Illinois, and Indiana, leaving a track 378 kilometers long, the longest ever recorded. The raw power of this tornado killed 689 people, making it the deadliest in the US and the second deadliest in history. Nearly 2,000 people were also injured, 4 towns were completely destroyed, 6 others received significant damage, and 11,000 people were left homeless. The Tri-State Tornado began as a small condensation funnel in Missouri. Within a minute after the first sighting, the first fatality occurred. Not long after that, the mining town of Annapolis was completely leveled. After this, the devastation only increased in magnitude. Before we continue, I'd like to ask you something. This channel has no sponsors, so if you enjoy the content I make, please consider supporting these videos by becoming a patron. You can check out my Patreon page by clicking here or find the link in the description. And with that out of the way, we can move on to the next fact. If you think this is the worst Earth can throw at us, think again. Back in 1970, the most devastating tropical cyclone in recorded history hit Bangladesh, then East Pakistan, and India's West Bengal. Called the Bola cyclone, this storm killed so many people and caused so much destruction that it's actually hard to get accurate figures. The storm surge, caused by winds of 240 km per hour, created massive waves of up to 7 meters high that hit the entire coast of Bangladesh. This was catastrophic. Most of Bangladesh lies below sea level, so the floodings reached deep into the province. An estimated 500,000 people died, but that number could be as high as 1 million. 400,000 homes were gone, as well as thousands of schools, fishing boats, cattle, and crops. The magnitude of this disaster was so big that it aggravated the tenuous relations between the province and the rest of Pakistan and actually triggered the Bangladesh Liberation War. To date, this is the deadliest tropical storm on record and among the deadliest natural disasters in history. But this was not a unique event, by the way. 7 out of the 10 most destructive meteorological events of the 20th century occurred in the general area of Bangladesh. Jumping back to the Americas, we find another tropical storm that stands out: Hurricane Gilbert. This was an extremely powerful hurricane that hit the Caribbean region and the Gulf of Mexico. At one point, its storm force winds engulfed an area measuring 925 kilometers in diameter. The wind speeds reached nearly 300 kilometers per hour, aggravated by the record-breaking low atmospheric pressure generated by the storm. These winds created waves of up to 6 meters high. Among the hardest hit countries was Jamaica. Here, the storm surge combined with intense rainfalls wreaked havoc. Crops, buildings, roads, even small aircrafts were destroyed. Nearly 1/4 of damage costs occurred in this one country alone. This storm was also the strongest ever to hit Mexico. In total, 318 people died and some 800,000 were left homeless. The strongest tropical storm ever to hit Central America was Hurricane Mitch back in 1998. This was the second deadliest Atlantic hurricane on record. It killed an estimated 11,000 people. It also left 2.7 million people homeless. The deadly weapon of this storm, apart from its crushing 285 km/h wind speeds, was its slow motion. Because of this, Hurricane Mitch dropped historic amounts of rainfall in Honduras, Nicaragua, and Guatemala, causing catastrophic flash floods and landslides. The vast majority of people died due to these rainfalls. So what are tropical storms anyway? Well, they are the largest storms on this planet. They're called tropical because they always originate from the tropical regions. Hurricanes, typhoons, tropical cyclones, they all designate the same thing. A tropical storm of the Atlantic or Northeast Pacific is called a hurricane. A typhoon is the same thing but occurring in the northwestern Pacific Ocean, while in the South Pacific and Indian Ocean they're referred to as a tropical cyclone. Different names, but the same thing. These storms can be extremely powerful. The total energy of a single tropical storm could theoretically power the United States for about a century. Tropical cyclones typically form over large bodies of relatively warm water. They derive their energy through the evaporation of water from the ocean surface, which ultimately recondenses into clouds and rain when moist air rises and cools to saturation. The strong rotating winds of a tropical cyclone are a result of the conservation of angular momentum imparted by the Earth's rotation as air flows inwards toward the axis of rotation. While they can be frightening and devastating, they are a necessary evil. Tropical cyclones periodically relieve droughts and carry heat energy away from the tropics, preventing them from overheating towards the temperate latitudes, thus playing a crucial role in global climate stability. However, in the following decades, we can expect an increase of tropical cyclones both in numbers and intensity due to climate change. Warmer waters will evaporate more quickly, which is exactly the energy source of this type of storm. It's more than likely that all of the examples given above will be outranked by stronger storms in the near future. I hope this video was interesting enough to have inspired you to look into it further on your own. If you liked it, leave a like and subscribe. You can leave your comments downstairs, and you can also check out my Patreon page if you want to support me. The link is in the description. I hope to see you next time. Bye.